Hello, thank you very much for joining me today. My name is Dietmar Dörschlag and I'm a certified Atlassian business consultant with Valiantys. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about cross-team collaboration in Jira Service Management, really in the context of the Atlassian System of Work. So let's jump in. The agenda topics that I'd like to cover in this video is I want to first really talk about what enterprise service management is. How do we define it and how does it work in reality? And how is it to be seen in the context of the Atlassian system of work? I will demonstrate this based on a solution that I built for a very large US customer, US client, moving off ServiceNow and over into Jira Service Management. I'm going to demonstrate this specifically for two teams. One is the HR team and one is the real estate operations team, how they collaborate together to get work done. And of course, I would be amiss not mentioning the importance of change management, rolling those solutions in with solid change management and what customer success means. So let's talk about enterprise service management first. My background over more than 25 years is in IT, information technology, which really covers the left side of the screen, the dev and the ops side of IT. Uh, Application development teams develop great solutions, they build them, they eventually deploy them, and then IT teams come in and support those solutions over time, essentially keep the lights on. Topics that we're very familiar with, incident management, change management, configuration management, all those topics. But in today's video, I really want to focus on non-IT teams, how non-IT teams can use Jira Service Management at enterprise scale to work together, really modern support for non-IT teams. Now, all of this is to be seen in the context of the Atlassian system of work. You probably heard about this. I want to briefly explain that. Now, Atlassian really exists for one thing and one thing only, and that is to allow teams to collaborate together, to be effective and efficient in how they work together. It's all about teams. And this can be, of course, many teams who get work done. And those teams need to align their work towards goals. It's all about making sure everybody sings from the same song sheet and everybody's aligned on what things need to get done and why they need to get done. Good teams plan their work and track their work together. There's always full visibility into the status of what each team is doing. And it's also the recognition that everyone in the organization, every team member has knowledge that needs to be unleashed. Why we're doing this? Of course, we want to get real fast value out of the solutions that we deploy. We want to really raise the engagement of all the team members. And we want to, of course, see higher return on our investment. Now, all of this is done in many Atlassian solutions across the Atlassian ecosystem, but today I want to focus about Jira Service Management, JSM, which I think is a wonderful solution how the Atlassian system of work plays out in reality, and I want to demonstrate this based on two solutions that I built. The solutions that I built were for a client that migrated off ServiceNow. Here are some of the reasons why they and many other clients are now coming to Valiantys migrating off ServiceNow. It really comes down to total cost of ownership. It comes down to the ease of deploying JSM and the ease of sustaining JSM over time. Again, in today's video, I want to really focus about enterprise service management for non-IT teams. GSM is highly configurable, highly scalable from a single team up to many teams across the enterprise. And it's also really easy to build. It's a no-code customization, and the solution that I'm demonstrating today was deployed to a client, not in months, in just a very short period of time. So let's dive into the system now. The first process I'm going to demonstrate is for HR teams, for maybe new hires, for HR changes, for departures. It's really owned by an HR business partner. or whatever that role is in your organization. They launch a new process, let's just say a new hire process from a Jira Service Management portal. And then what we want to do is we want to loop in all other teams across the enterprise, which are of course IT teams, but very often non-IT teams, collaborating together to get work done based on predefined task lists. There needs to be full visibility into the status of what each team is doing. We're collecting certain key data points along the way. They need to be visible to anyone. Of course, we need to measure this with service level agreements. And we let Jira Automation and advanced workflow to really do the work for us. Now, how long did this solution that I'm demonstrating now take to implement? It was 1 to 2 weeks, very short time, of course, depending on the complexity. And then later in this video, I'm going to demonstrate the same solution for a real estate operations team. Um, a real estate operations team member launches a process from a JSM portal. Task lists are routed to many teams that are involved, and really the same benefits that we see for HR then come into play. So I'm now going to switch over into Jira Service Management. And here we have a launch pad, the JSM portal for my ABC company. This is the service portal where many different types of requests would be launched. A group of different HR requests, real estate operation requests, and information technology requests, all from one landing pad. Now, of course, there is security built into this. HR requests can be locked down, considering that it probably retains confidential information. So I'm launching into the HR request, and we are hiring a new team member. So now I'm going to fill out this form, pause the video, and when I'm ready to proceed, I'm going to come back. Now, the HR advisor, whatever the person is in your HR organization, has now filled in a highly configurable form, which can have attachments. Again, depending on your sensitivity, they can be locked down. We're collecting certain data points. All is ready to go, and the HR advisor now launches this HR process, this new hire process into Jira Service Management. Now, from the portal, we're moving now into the backend where all the various teams will now collaborate. So you see a GSM issue was created, the attachment is uploaded, the form that was submitted is attached. And now this goes into an assignment group, which then lands in a certain queue. So whenever a new request is submitted, it goes into the human resources queue, people can be notified. You see also at the top right, we set an SLA. So if I would change the priority, let's just say from medium to highest, this is now a really urgent hire, the SLA, if I refresh my screen, is now reset to 12 hours because this is a really urgent hire. So it's very convenient and important, of course, to measure service level agreements. Now, this now gets assigned to an HR team member who manages this new hire process through its entirety. Now we're ready to now route work to other teams. So what the HR person does is they now advance this workflow to an in progress status. Now they can leave certain notes for the person that are being assigned to this particular request now, and they're now proceeding. And now what Jira JSM does is it's now creating task lists that are routed to all other teams involved in that recruitment, in that new hire. Now, of course, you can do the very same thing for any other HR processes. I built this out for HR change processes, for departures. So there really the sky's the limit in how many teams can be looped in here for the different type of processes. So I'm going to pause this video now, let automation kick in and create all those task lists for the other teams automatically. When it's done, I come back. So as we're now coming back into this demonstration, you see that via automation, all the various other teams' task lists have been created as so-called linked issues. How this is built out, I will cover in a separate video where I will be explaining all the various Jira configuration elements that come into play. So just by virtue of progressing the workflow transition from open to in progress, automation has now created task lists for all other teams that are involved. Of course, human resources, IT, communication, infrastructure, marketing, and real estate operation. This is just an example. The actual solution that I built for my client, my customer, included up to 25 teams that are involved in different processes. So this is truly enterprise service management. So what I'm now doing is, for example, I'm going into the IT task list. So I'm opening that in a different tab. And you now see that it has now created a list, an issue list for IT. And the way I handle this is I create various subtasks. So each of those subtasks, of course, can follow its own issue type, which means it can follow its own screen behavior and workflow behavior. Now, what IT would now do is they see this issue coming into their IT queue, which is configured here via JQL on the left side, and they now assign this issue or this task list essentially to a team lead. So they assign it to someone, and they're now progressing that issue to in progress. And now they're getting the issues completed, so they can, in the workflow, the way I configured this, moving this either to a done status or maybe it is not required, so they can even canceling it out. So I'm going to complete this now for all the task list, all the task items for IT. Now what you see here, the overall issue cannot be completed out yet because I have a so-called workflow transition condition that only allows the parent issue to be completed when all the subtasks are being dealt with. Only once that is all completed, I can now and only now see a transition to get the IT team's parent issue closed out. And once it's closed out, they're marking this as complete, and we now automatically set a resolution as done for the IT team. Now the IT team is done. If we go back to the HR team, the HR original submission, this is where HR manages the entire end-to-end process. You now see in that task list that IT has completed all their tasks. So there is full visibility, full transparency for anyone where every other team is currently at. So this was just for the IT team. I'm going now completing all the other tasks for all the other teams, HR, communication, infrastructure, marketing, and real estate. And once that's done, I come back. Now, as I'm working through this, HR has full visibility. They, for example, now see that there were actually no real estate tasks to be done, so real estate canceled it out. Marketing completed all their work. Infrastructure is still pending. Communication is still pending. IT completed all their work, and the HR tasks are still pending. So they always have full transparency into the work of all the other teams. Now, as you can see in the progress here, all non-HR teams have completed their work. HR sees the status of each of the other teams' work. They can, of course, click into those task lists and look at the details, which leaves me with the last group of tasks that need to be completed, namely for HR. So I'm opening the HR task list. And of course, that task list can be completely configurable. I actually built task lists that have up to 85 lists, so this could like be a project plan. So HR is now proceeding with all their work. Now, as they are completing their work, you actually see a progress percent complete of the overall work that needs to complete it. So that's also really handy. They're completing their work. Maybe some items are not really needed, so they can cancel them. Of course, they could click into the subtask, leave comments, and mention other people that they get notifications. So there are many things that can be done. So I'm pausing the video again, complete this, and then I come back. So before we close out this process, there's something else I wanted to mention. Up here on top, we organized the screens where the various teams can collect various data points. So for example, the infrastructure team would collect the asset tag number. They would maybe collect a laptop serial number, and then we also configured a custom field that they could now note the laptop model number and even issue a cell phone number. Now, all those data points, once collected, are available to all other teams. We wrote automation where if and when a data point is updated, is changed, that new data point is copied over to all the other teams. So there is always full transparency, one of the Atlassian System of Work core principles. This is true for infrastructure, for employee details, and also, of course, for example, real estate, where we could record an office number. So now, once all of this is complete, HR now completes the very last task, adding the employee, for example, to a weekly newsletter, and they would now complete their task list. Now, if we go back to the original submission, we now see that all teams have completed their work, which leaves HR to closing out that new hire process. They would now move this from in progress to in review. Now we can also, of course, write an automation where once all those parent issues from the other teams are closed out, we automatically move it to in review and maybe send an email to everyone. So HR would know via notification that all other teams have concluded their work. And this really completes this HR new hire process. It is completed and we are closing it out, and we can then automatically set via post function if we want a resolution of resolved. So this is a very quick example of one process that we built, which was just the new hire process. Now, if we go back to the portal, there are, of course, various HR processes that you can build using the same principles. New hire processes, HR change processes, permanent or temp departures. If somebody goes on mat leave or paternity leave, you can launch a different form where you are tracking the reasons for the departure, and then it spins up task lists similar to what I demonstrated for the HR process. Also, we build processes for real estate operations. So, for example, if we can track office moves, a permanent office move, or a shared office opening, or maybe a shared office moves to permanent offices. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not demonstrating this process now. It really works similar to what I demonstrated for HR. It's routed to different teams. It is spinning up different task lists depending on what each team needs to be doing for office moves or new office construction. So it is highly configurable. It really is a demonstration of how enterprise service management works for non-IT teams using the awesome JSM platform. Now, how did we build this out? I will be demonstrating this in a separate video, so please check out that video on our YouTube channel. There are obviously a number of different configuration elements that come into play. Most importantly, automations, where all the task lists are automatically created, custom field screens, and workflows. It's very straightforward and simple to build. As a matter of fact, building out this solution that I demonstrated here only took me a few hours, so it is very easy to stand up. Now, I want to close this video with quickly talking about our approach, what we do with our awesome clients when we implement solutions like that. Really the importance of change management. For us, end user training is not just an additional step in the process. I very much believe that end user training is really an absolutely critical component that any business transformation is successful. And this is why we so much focus on change enablement, really committing to making our customers successful. There are always various components to that. For example, I'm very active in teaching Jira and Jira Service Management bootcamps where we configure Jira JSM from the ground up. We do admin training. We obviously train all the various team members that now work in JSM. There's a lot of internal messaging to get people engaged and ready for the change that we're implementing. We, of course, do extensive user acceptance testing and training. And then we have drop-in sessions during office hours for new JSM users. So they are very comfortable, supported also with end user documentation when we take those systems live. We are measuring success really on an ongoing basis. For us, it is really all about customer success and let our customers share how they feel about the solutions that we put in. This is a quote that I received from one of my awesome clients where we put this solution in. They felt that the migration from ServiceNow to JSM, building those solutions for 23 teams, I believe we had, through enterprise service management was really, really successful. And it was a very seamless transition where the team easily transitioned using ServiceNow on a Friday and then going live on GSM for the solutions that I demonstrated today on the following Monday. So with that, thank you very much having joined me today. Please stay tuned for another video where I'm going into the configuration aspects of the solution that I demonstrated today. Please stay in touch. We would love to work for you. And I wish you all the very best in your GSM journey. Thank you so much.